All right, Alana, thank you. Well, it's Friday night in Utah, and that means it's time for the Beehive Blitz. Tonight is the last night in September, so those October playoffs are right around the corner. Now it's time for teams to really dig deep and make these last few games count. We, of course, here at ABC4 have team coverage for you, tracking games across the state play-by-play to bring you the highlights, the comebacks, and, of course, the touchdowns. Here is where our coverage consists. ABC4 News bringing you that team coverage from Box Elder County all the way down to Washington. Southern Utah correspondent Garrett James is in Hurricane ahead of the game against Crimson Cliffs. In Northern Utah, Kate Garner is at Box Elder High School to catch their match with the Bountiful Redhawks. But first, reporter Annika Johns is on the field at Harriman High, and the Mustangs are taking on the Mountain Ridge Sentinels tonight. Annika, we'll begin with you.
Yeah, Emily, like you said, tonight the Mountain Ridge Sentinels are taking on the Harriman Mustangs. Now, I caught up with a few Harriman students before the game, and they said that tonight's game is their biggest rivalry yet, and that the victor will take home not only bragging rights, but the crown to H-Town.
What kind of day is it? It's a great day to be a Mustang!
Located less than 5 miles away from each other, Mountain Ridge and Harriman High School's rivalry runs deep.
Well, Mountain Ridge used to be with our school. Our school, Harriman, got split about like 3 or 4 years ago. And so now it's our friends that go there. They all live in Harriman, and now we're all just cross-town rivals, and we fight to see who's the best in Harriman.
Harriman is currently standing at 4-3 and Mountain Ridge at 5-1. While students say tonight's game could be anyone's, this battle goes past just football games.
A lot of it leads into different sports and how people act towards different sports and like how you come in from it. Our volleyball girls swept them this last 2 days ago, so we're hoping that's starting a good streak for us. So yeah.
Tonight, Harriman students say is also their senior night and last home football game of the season, and emotions are high. So they're hoping with a crowd donned in black clothing, cheers, and a drive to win, their boys will be collecting the victory and be crowned as the true high school of Harriman.
I'm so sad. It's like actually so sad.
Trying not to think about it, honestly. It's sad.
We decorated a lot. Hopefully our boys can win our last home game.
Yeah. And it on a good streak.
So tonight's game kicks off at 7 p.m. and the crowds are starting to come in a little bit. Their student section is filling up just over here to the right of me. But coming up at 10, we'll have the full game highlights, and we'll be letting you know who was crowned the victor of H-Town. Reporting live from Harriman, Annika Johns, ABC4 News.
Turn down to Northern Utah, where at some place we're hearing a party music going on behind him. Kate Garner's in Brigham City this evening for the match between Box Elder County and Bountiful. Kate, is that music coming from you?
No, I wish it was. It sounds like the party's already started, but we are still a couple hours away from it. Now, tonight's game is going to be a big one for the Bees for a few reasons, but the biggest of all might just be that this is the first real home game the team has had here all season long.
The Bees are coming into tonight undefeated on a 7-game winning streak. They hope to keep that streak going because tonight is their homecoming game. They haven't been able to play a single game at home until tonight because their new field was being installed, making this homecoming game even more special. In fact, by 2 o'clock this afternoon, parents and fans had already started lining up outside to make sure they got the best seat in the house.
I think it's really exciting. I'm happy that we can have our whole town here in all of our student sections, so I think it'll be a party.
Okay, so obviously the party, like I said, has already kicked off with the music. I want to show you another way. You can kind of see behind me that there are tons of blankets and things on the bleachers. So the school opened up the gates to the bleachers at 2:30. Everyone who was standing in line saved their spot. And from what I can see, there is not a single open spot on the bleachers except for the student section, which is also blocked off to keep parents out of it. We'll have those highlights coming up at 10 tonight. Live in Brigham City, Kate Garner, ABC4 News.
Let's head on down south to get a look at Hurricane's upcoming home game against the Crimson Cliffs. Southern Utah correspondent Garrett James is there. And Garrett, what are they expecting tonight?
Well, it's a bit of a different kind of matchup than what I've covered normally here in Southern Utah. It's a little bit of the David and Goliath story. The Hurricane Tigers are currently 1-6 without a win in Region 9 play. However, they're taking on the 6-1 Crimson Cliffs Mustangs, who are currently undefeated in Region 9 play. I spoke with the head coach of the Hurricane High School about what their overall mindset is going into a matchup like this.
We know what we're up against, but you know what? We're not scared, We'll look anyone in the face and go to battle with them.
While this looks to be quite the uphill battle for the Tigers, they are preparing for this week just like any other week, but they aren't afraid of this matchup.
We all know the David and Goliath story, right? David can always win, but all we got to do is beat them by 1 point.
When asked about what the game plan was for this week, this is what Corey told me.
As far as defensively, they run, they pass, they do everything well. They do a ton of formation, so, during practice, making sure we're aligned correctly. It's about alignment and competing. Once you're aligned right, let's go out and compete. So making sure these kids are in the best alignment possible with all their formations. And then when that ball is snapped, alignment, all that stuff doesn't matter. It's about competing and it's about effort. And so most of the time, it's not the best. It's the team that plays the best win. It's not always the best team. So we're ready to go play the best.
And if you can't tell, Coach Ashby, like he said, they're not afraid of the Mustangs, and they're ready to go toe-to-toe with them and battle it out. So will the Tigers be able to take down the Mustangs? You'll have to tune in tonight at 10 o'clock for the Beehive Blitz at Hurricane High School. Garrett James, ABC 4 News.